cappuccino. Hey guys, so this happened and also this happened. So this is Ginny. She is the daughter of the horse I just showed you, and funnily enough, they are not mine. I mean, I have a very, very small percentage of them, but they are my boyfriend's, Max. So funnily enough, in April this year, he decided he wanted to try and find a horse, and he found a mare and foal. The mare was sort of listed as beginner safe to an extent, and she had a gorgeous little full thoroughbred Palomino filly at foot. So Ginny here is almost now a year old, and she was born in December last year. And like I said, she is actually a full thoroughbred, which is very rare, as a lot of you horse people would know. And it was sort of part of the reason that Max got them, was because I basically said, oh wow, a full Palomino thoroughbred, that's so rare. And then he was like, oh my god, rare, I want rare. And then now we have Ginny and Evie. And Ginny, as you can tell, she is a real sweetheart. She hadn't really been handled at all when we first got her, which we had to drive literally to Melbourne almost, and then back in one day to get her and Evie, because Max had to do training the next day, so it was pretty hectic. Oh, hello. But like I said, she is such a sweet, sweet horse. So we've pretty much taught her everything that you can teach a horse that's, you know, not even a year old. And she's had a lot of handling, particularly because she's our only young horse, so we've spent a lot of time with her because she can't really learn off of other horses. So she lives with Flume at the moment, but that being said, she's probably going to go out into a big spelling paddock soonish, just so she has another year of growth. And then we're just going to treat her as sort of a warm blood and break her in at about 3, because even being a thoroughbred, I don't really like the thought of her starting to get ridden at 2, especially because she's a special kind of thoroughbred. So for those interested in her breeding, she is out of Amazon Eve, which is obviously the mare that we have, and she is by, why am I blanking? Gold. What's your dad's name? Gold. Hey, Ginny. Beep beep. So I just completely blanked on who her dad was, but she is by Glacial Gold, who is imported from the US and was imported to Victoria from the US, and he is a Cremello full thoroughbred, so of course she was going to end up being a Palomino. And she has a few full siblings. I'm not sure that they're racing or anything, but yeah, she can be raced, and she's in the thoroughbred registry, so very cool. Aren't you, Ginny? You're very cool. And you've got a big mark on your head because you bumped it somewhere, silly girl. She's so sweet. So yeah, this is also the reason why I haven't really been posting very much, because I wanted to introduce our new horses, Max's new horses, before just coming back and just being like, oh, by the way, there's another 2 horses here. Cuddles, Ginny. She's just like, please get off me. Get off me. She's so sweet. You're so sweet. She doesn't like patting. She only likes scratches. We like the scratches. We don't like the pats. Scratches, pats. Also, big surprise, I am going to be filming weekly in December. So I have another really exciting thing to tell you guys. So can't wait to share that. So I'm ending this video with a vlog of picking Ginny and Evie up from Victoria. So we actually left on Monday night and then had to sleep in the car at Nil for a couple hours, and then continued the drive to get there at about 7 a.m. And then we immediately drove home, and this was them pretty much straight after getting off the float. It was about 10 p.m. They were so cute. And then, as you can see, we were checking on them through the night with the Reolink cameras. Oh my God, this photo is so funny, honestly. And then this is just us getting her used to getting brushed and us being around her. She eventually started meeting the other horses. Max had to give them a wash because he wanted them to be extra clean, to which Ginny immediately rolled, of course, 1,000,000 times. That is one dirty foal. Jesus. Well coated enough.
I saw something about like if a horse has like 4 rolls, they're like really fucking good. Is that like 8?
4 rolls. Then after a couple of days of them settling in, we took them up to the top paddocks, which are a bit bigger and more for horses that are spelling and stuff. The other boys were so excited about finally having a mare around, so they were really showing off for them. Look at them, they were so cute. As you can see, it was still really dry. Evie looks so different now. It's crazy to see how different she looked back then. So when we got Evie, she had a bit of a bad eye, which we were told was from a grass seed, but actually we ended up having to take her to the vet because it just wasn't healing, and it ended up being a cancerous growth. So we actually ended up having to take her back to get it removed, and thank God we did, because it was apparently growing pretty quickly. And because of this, Ginny actually got a lot of handling because we had to take them back down into the stable so then we could float them again and stuff. So here I am trying to get her used to me sort of touching her around her head and stuff. And I was just using like a glove like this, like a de-shedding glove, because she absolutely loved scratches. As you can see, she was really not keen on her face being touched for a while, and anything being put around her head or above her head especially. So I just had to spend so much time in the stable with her, just touching her as much as possible. One of the methods I ended up using was to scratch her around her neck because she loved it. And every time she tried to move away when I was sort of trying to get more around her face, I would just completely stop the scratches. And she was like, "Oh, why'd you do that? I want more. What are you doing?" And so, yeah, you can see me again trying to get around her head. And then eventually I got a lead rope on her. And this was where we were able to sort of start focusing a little bit more on pressure and release. So I would put a little bit of pressure on the lead rope to get her to move forward. And then as soon as she stepped forward, I would release it. So you can see I released it there, and she's like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, it released the pressure. Crazy. Mind-blowing." And this was the day that Evie was going in for her eyelid removal surgery. So we chucked the float in the round yard like this because we found this was the easiest way to get them both on the float with Ginny not being handled much. Then this is poor Evie, Ginny getting a little bit of handling while she was in there. They also had a little look over her, and that's poor Evie and her eye. She got blood absolutely everywhere, including on her child. So because of Evie's eye surgery, they spent even more time down in the stable. And so when they finally got out, Ginny had to show off how speedy she is, because she is a thoroughbred after all, a sassy girl, as you can see sometimes. And then she just has to have her beauty sleep because it's a tough life being a spicy little girl. Honestly, me too, Ginny. This is when I finally got her to eat out of my hand. It took so long. She just did not trust us to feed her. I'm really glad I have all these videos because it's so cute to see her suckling and stuff and being like a real baby. Oh my God, her reaction to Dexter was actually insane. The champing is absolutely off the rails. Dex is like, "What is wrong with you?" Hello, missus. Why are you always napping, sweetie? Just me. Here we have the girls getting moved yet again because K1, the property, is just built in a way that is not really for horses, and it means you have to move them around heaps, which was great for handling purposes, but also just is so time consuming. Then in winter, when she was a bit over 7 months old, we ended up weaning her, which was so sad, and I was so scared to do it because I just didn't really know what to expect, because this was the first time I've ever had a foal. But the weaning ended up going really well, and this was finally when we were feeling like we were able to get through to her a little bit more because she couldn't just run and hide behind Evie the whole time. So I would put this sort of lead rope around her neck, so I had a little bit of control, and then I just started putting her halter on like this and just letting her get used to it and giving her lots of praise and lots of scratches. And as you can see, using a bit of pressure and release with the lead rope as well. So this was the first time I ever managed to get the halter on her. So it wasn't really working for putting her nose through there. I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably a little bit much to ask with how cautious she was about it. So I just kept putting it over her ears like that, and then undid the noseband piece like that. And so I just plonked it on top of her nose like that, and then did it all up. It is a bit big for her at this point, as you can see, but she can grow into it. It's like a kid with a new set of shoes. And that was the first time she ever had a halter on. She was so good. And I did just a little bit of leading, getting her to understand pole pressure. So as soon as she stepped forward, as you can see, I would release. She was so smart. This is her not understanding carrots at all and not liking the taste, which is still actually the case, funnily enough. Then this is a couple of days later. She was understanding leading completely, so we could start taking her out to the yard and stuff because I wanted to get her out of the stable as soon as possible. As you can tell, this is her meeting Max's family dog. Oh, it's so cute. The way she just nuzzles into him. She's like, oh wow, this is really soft. What is it? I'm confused. And this is her out in the round yard with Jerry. They are just not ideal together because they are both the type of horses that like razzing each other up. And so the entire time I would put them out together, they would just be like, woo, until they both got really exhausted. It was cute though. She really latched on to Jerry. She loved Jerry for some reason, even though he was such an ass to her. So classic. You always want what you can't have, right? Then after a week or so of making sure that she wouldn't kill herself if she was out alone, we took her out to the paddock and chucked her in a paddock. So here we are, leading her for the first time out around the vineyard by herself. She's so sweet. Look at that booty. Ready to race. And then Max spoiled her so much. So he got her not only a regular winter rug, but also a summer rug. Yes, he got his 8-month-old foal a summer rug, but it was quite cute. And also we got the ability to train her how to put a rug on. So this is obviously the first time that we put the rug on her. Again, she was just so good. She's been such a chilled out foal for the most part. Just like a bit nervous. That's her only thing, is she just gets a little bit nervous, but she doesn't really do anything that's silly. Then around a month later, she ended up banging her eye on something in the paddock. So she had to go back in the stable again so we could treat it 3 times a day. And so we had to treat it regularly, and so she got even more handling, even more chilled out stable time. And then she got put back in the round yard with Jerry, who was also recovering from an abscess which we just could not kick for the life of us. And so it was more sassy Jerry and Ginny times. So she got used to being brought back in at night. Here she is stealing some hay from the hay delivery. She's like, why would I not? It's right in front of me. Oh, sassy little girl. So cute. And then eventually, finally, we took her up to her top paddock. Her and Jerry, after he'd recovered from his abscess. Here she is scaring the absolute shit out of me again because she is just so brilliant at playing dead. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. I can't wait to show you guys more of Ginny as she grows and more of Evie. It's very exciting.